On Monday, all eyes were on Robert Costello, who was called to testify in former President Trump's hush money trial and was swiftly scolded by the judge for his courtroom demeanor.
Ended with probably the most dramatic moment in the trial so far. As Robert Costello, a lawyer who once advised Michael Cohen and one of the few witnesses the defense plans to call, was admonished by Judge Juan Marchand for his reactions to objections. The defense has also signaled that they could rest their case as soon as tomorrow, meaning the big question of whether Donald Trump will take the stand in his own defense appears to be unlikely, despite the fact that Trump has repeatedly said that he would testify.
So, what really happened? Minutes after Costello, a former legal consultant to ex-Trump fixer Michael Cohen, gave his testimony Monday, Judge Juan Marchand asked the jurors to leave the courtroom so he could chastise Costello for his behavior on the stand. Costello and Marchand exchanged harsh words, and the media were abruptly asked to leave the courtroom. Marchand demanded to know if Costello was staring him down.
Out and saying that Michael Cohen is lying about him on the stand. He testified before Congress, before Republicans in Congress. And some of what's going on right now is, for instance, Costello said that Cohen told him 10 to 12 times during their meeting, "I swear to God, Bob, I don't have anything on Donald Trump." So he is there to impeach the credibility of Michael Cohen.
The jurors and reporters were permitted back inside minutes later without explanation, and Trump's legal team began interrogating Costello. If you don't know, Costello is a former federal prosecutor turned defense lawyer who spent decades in New York's legal arena. Costello briefly advised Cohen in 2018 while federal prosecutors investigated him and his work for Trump. He allegedly tried to arrange a back channel between Trump and Cohen through former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani, who had recently joined Trump's legal team.
And I said to him, I said, "Michael, the way this works is if you have truthful information about Donald Trump, that's clearly what they're looking for, I can have all your legal problems solved by the end of the week." His response, "I swear to God, Bob, I don't have anything on Donald Trump."
According to the judge, when Costello reached the stand for the defense and was presented with those emails, he may have fixed the prosecution's storyline on that connection. This, combined with Costello's behavior on the stand, left the jurors with a bad taste in their mouths. According to some of the other judges who have watched every day of the proceedings from an aisle seat in the courtroom, they have never witnessed anything like Costello's behavior. But the background of the whole story? Here's what it really is.
It turns out he not only lied, but also stole money. Michael Cohen exposed as a thief.
This is a bomb dropped in the middle of the prosecution's case. Trump was getting robbed by his own guy.
In one instance, Cohen was given $50,000 by the Trump Organization to rig a poll back when Trump was thinking of running for president in 2015. But it turns out the pollster he hired charged just $20,000, and Cohen kept the rest for himself.
We all know that Trump is currently on trial on 34 counts of falsifying company records. Prosecutors rested their case Monday after weeks of attempting to establish that the former president reimbursed his former lawyer Michael Cohen for paying adult industry star Stormy Daniels $130,000 in 2016, disguised as a legal cost to conceal a campaign finance violation.
Concession in the criminal hush money trial against former President Trump. Trump's defense team is expected to rest its case today in this final stretch of his historic criminal hush money trial. Before entering the courtroom, Trump spoke to the camera saying prosecutors have no case and that no crime has been committed.
Trump's defense team called Republican lawyer Robert Costello as the second witness. Costello is an important witness for the defense because Cohen claims he tried to act as a backup support to Trump in the White House. However, after multiple objections from the prosecution were sustained, Costello appeared to become frustrated on the witness stand.
Costello is really expressing disdain for Judge Marchand's rulings. Costello shakes his head as if he was exasperated when Judge Marchand sustained an objection from the prosecution about one of the answers. At another time, when the prosecution objected, Marchand told the lawyers to approach the bench, and Costello could be heard saying on the microphone, "ridiculous," just saying ridiculous while the attorneys are at sidebar. Then at another time, there was another objection which was sustained. Costello lets out a "Jesus."
What followed was possibly the most dramatic moment of the trial yet. During a heated exchange near the end of the day, key witnesses admitted to stealing tens of thousands of dollars from Trump's organization. Trump's lawyers reportedly urged Mershon to dismiss the case once prosecutors had finished presenting evidence. However, the judge did not make an early decision on the request. However, the most unpleasant moments occurred with Costello on the witness stand. Mershon first asked the members of the jury to walk out of the courthouse to talk about basic decorum. He criticized Costello for saying "geez" when he was interrupted by a protracted objection, and at another time, "strike it." "Sorry, I'm sorry," Mershon said heatedly to Costello. Costello then said, "strike it," seeming to refer to striking his own testimony from the court record. The judge then told him, "I'm the only one who can strike testimony in court, do you understand that?" However, Costello continued to testify and then groaned dramatically as another objection was upheld. Mershon then excused the jurors from the courtroom and addressed Costello. "I want to discuss proper decorum in my courtroom," Mershon stated when the jurors left. But he wasn't done there. He then continued by saying, "And then if you don't like my ruling, you don't give me side eye and you don't roll your eyes." He reminded Costello, an experienced lawyer, that he's also not allowed to say "strike it," because Mershon is the only one in the courtroom with the authority to strike testimony. Mershon also alluded to Costello rolling his eyes.
That is in part why Judge Mershon did something this afternoon that I personally have never seen before. The jury instructions here that are pertinent to the charged crime, that is falsification of business records in the first degree, he not only read once, he read twice in its totality. I had never seen that done before. I know at least one other lawyer affiliated with our network had never seen that done before either. And that's likely because in its repetition, he is hoping that they get what they cannot get in the jury room, which is the consultation to these words.
But as of now, the jury in Donald Trump's hush money trial is to continue deliberations after asking to rehear potentially critical testimony about the alleged hush money conspiracy at the core of the history-making case. The 12-person jury discussed for roughly 4.5 hours on Wednesday without reaching a judgment. Besides seeking to rehear testimony from a tabloid publisher and Trump's former lawyer and personal fixer, the jury also sought to examine at least part of the judge's hour-long instructions that were designed to enlighten them on the law. It is uncertain how long the deliberations will endure. A guilty conviction would bring a dramatic legal reckoning for the likely Republican presidential nominee as he strives to recapture the White House, yet an acquittal would be a significant victory for Trump and encourage him on the campaign trail. Because verdicts must be unanimous, the case may terminate in a mistrial if the jury is unable to reach an agreement after several days of discussion.
Is the defense trying to discredit Michael Cohen, one of the star witnesses, who was really the glue between the repayments in 2017 and the initial so-called hush money payment to Stormy Daniels? They're saying he cannot be trusted. Todd Blanche coming out of the gate this morning, making sure to make eye contact with the jury as he puts together a narrative he says discredits the government's entire case, said, quote, he, speaking of Cohen, took an oath. He swore to tell the truth and to tell you, speaking to the jury, a number of things on that witness stand that were lies, pure and simple. And
faces.
Mother Teresa could not beat these two.
However, Trump, on the other side, still believes that this whole situation is only set up so that he cannot be a part of the upcoming presidential elections. After the jury instructions were read, Trump left the courthouse with a downbeat tone, repeating his claims of a very unfair trial, and declaring Mother Teresa could not beat those charges, but we'll see how we do. During the hearings, he remained inside the courthouse and posted concerns about the trial on his social media network, quoting legal and political pundits who support his argument. He did not testify in his own defense, which the court informed jurors they could not consider.
Testimony includes what the men said about a meeting with Donald Trump at Trump Tower in 2015. Pecker bought the rights to and then suppressed negative stories that could have hurt former President Trump's candidacy during the 2016 campaign. Pecker opted not to pay for Stormy Daniels' story, though he told Cohen about it. Cohen paid her to stay quiet on behalf of his boss, who then reimbursed him the basis of the 34 felony counts the former president faces.
In their first communication with the court, jurors requested to hear testimony from Cohen and former National Enquirer editor David Pecker regarding an August 2015 meeting with Trump at Trump Tower, during which the tabloid chief volunteered to be the eyes and ears of Trump's budding presidential campaign. Pecker testified that the plan involved identifying potentially negative stories about Trump and preventing them from being published. Prosecutors allege this was the start of the catch-and-kill plan at the heart of the case.
Also asked to rehear some of Judge Juan Merchan's instructions surrounding the laws that apply to this case. Yesterday morning, the judge spent more than an hour telling the jury to put aside their personal biases and not hold the former president's decision to not testify against him.
Jurors also want to hear Pecker's account of a phone call he claims he had from Trump, during which they discussed a rumor that another outlet had offered to buy former Playboy model Karen McDougal's purported narrative about having a year-long affair with Trump in the mid-2000s. Donald Trump has denied the affair. Pecker said that Trump said, "Karen is a nice girl," and asked, "What do you think I should do?" Pecker said, "I think you should buy the story and take it off the market." He went on to say that Trump told him that he doesn't buy tales because they'll always leak, and that Cohen will contact him.
Each count, the jurors must all agree that the former president created a false record or caused someone else to, and that he did so intending to violate or hide a violation of state law that makes it illegal, quote, to promote or prevent the election of any person to a public office by unlawful means.
To find Trump guilty, the jury must unanimously conclude that he made a fraudulent entry in his company's records or caused someone else to do so with the intent to commit or hide another crime. Prosecutors allege Trump violated or concealed a breach of a New York election law that makes it illegal for two or more conspirators to promote or prevent the election of any person to a public office by unlawful means. While the jury must agree that something illegal was done to support Trump's election campaign, they do not have to agree on what that illegal act was. The jurors, a varied cross-section of Manhattan residents and professionals, look to be enthralled by the trial's testimony, notably that of Cohen and Daniels. Many people took notes and watched closely as witnesses faced questions from Manhattan prosecutors and Trump's lawyers. Jurors began deliberations following a marathon day of final statements in which a prosecutor talked for more than 5 hours, highlighting the district attorney's office's challenge in proving Trump's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. To escape a conviction, the Trump team does not need to prove his innocence. Instead, they must rely on at least one juror concluding that prosecutors did not fully prove their case. But what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel.